What's going on, guys? Got some more exciting news to share with you. Recently I showed you we bought a new tractor and stuff, and of course if you've been following the channel you know that we're developing a homestead property. Haven't decided yet if we're going to go off-grid fully or if we're going to do a partial off-grid system, but we're excited to be as self-sufficient as possible. That's always been our main objective. So long story short, here recently, before I bought the tractor, one of my customers that I work with on a regular basis, he was telling me that he was like, hey, we got some shipping containers. I know you got that new land. Are you interested in any shipping containers? I was like, heck yeah, I am. So let's make it happen, as long as the deal is good. And it was a really good deal. They were just basically wanting to get rid of them. And, I don't know. I don't really even want to say what I paid for them. It was so cheap compared to what they are going for now, because you're probably not going to find them for that price, but heck with it. I'll let the cat out of the bag. I basically paid $2,400 delivered. So $1,200 a piece is what I had to pay for these things. And that was a great deal. And I thank my customer / buddy for hooking me up with that deal and thinking of me and letting me know. And he's an old school farmer, so he's been very helpful. I've been picking his brain as much as I can. Every time I go over there and visit with him, I'm like, hey, what about this tractor? What do you think about this? So he's been very instrumental in helping me to put my mind right to buy a tractor. And when I told him I bought the Mahindra, he was like, oh yeah, you got a good one. You'll like that. Because they're heavy built and all that, and pretty basic machine. So anyways, long story short, we got the shipping container, and not only did we get one, we actually bought two of them. So here's the other one. And they're both older containers. They're not brand new or anything. And, if they would have been nice and new and fresh paint on them and all that stuff, they'd have probably been $2,400 a piece or $2,800 a piece. So for me to get two of them delivered for $2,400 was a pretty good deal. This one over here, it needs some work on the floor. It's got a plywood floor in it, but right there at the beginning, at the entrance there, when you pull your tractor in, it's got some rot there. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. I'm planning on just stripping the whole floor out and going with a 2x6 floor in there. I think that'd be better. This one over here has got a good floor in it. But back to this one right quick. This one, because it's been sitting there, it had a leak and it was getting wet on that plywood. And of course it soaked it up like a sponge for years. So it smells very mildewy in there. So my wife was like, okay, this one's the tractor storage / shop building, because she didn't want to hang out in the mildew. She's sensitive to that stuff. So it really bothers her, but it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I don't really want to smell like it for the rest of the day. And if you're in there for a long period of time, you probably will. But anyways, as you can see, we set them on some concrete blocks. These were some solid concrete blocks that came with this place, and they're heavy duty. They're like 60, 70 pounds a piece, I bet, and maybe even more. But we have a whole bunch of them, and I was like, heck yeah, let's use those to level it all out and to give it some airspace, some gap underneath there, so that it won't rust out anymore. This one here on the left, it's odd because this one's actually in nicer shape on the interior and the floor. But the actual frame, the metal floor on this one's got quite a bit of rust down at the bottom. So that's another reason why I'd rather park the tractor in this one, because structurally the steel on the bottom of this one's still a lot better shape than that other one. There's a couple of places where there were some leaks in the roof, and I had to grab myself a bucket of roofing tar and my drill and with a wire wheel on it. And I got up there, and any place there was daylight showing through, I got up there with my drill and the wire wheel, and I hit it real good, got the loose rust off, and then cleaned it off with a rag, and then applied a generous coat of roofing tar. And it seemed to work in places where it didn't drip out, but I could see it like kind of poking down through there. And then I went back up and built it up again. So I think we're going to have watertight shipping containers by the time it's all said and done. I'm fixing it today. What I'm doing over here is I'm getting ready to take my caulking gun and go around and do the sidewalls, where any place where someone put a screw or whatever over the years. There's a couple of places in this one where it looks like someone hit it with a forklift or some kind of machine and actually pierced it. So I may have to put some backing tape or something on there before I caulk that one up. But, and eventually I may weld them up, because I do know how to weld. I just don't have time to mess with that right now. So yeah, we're really excited about this. It gives us the ability to park our equipment over here, lock it up. I had a heck of a time with this one in particular. It had a bar like this right here. They usually have 2 bars per door. Well, these inside ones, I just couldn't get them to work, so I ended up cutting them off. And later on, I'll do a nicer job of cleaning that up. But yeah, the lady there was a husband and wife team that dropped these off for me. And she said, I have never seen, we've been doing containers for quite a while, and I have never seen containers this old. And I was like, oh, really? How old are they? She said, well, one of them, and I can't remember if it's this one or the other one. One of them was from like 76, and the other one was from 66. That's 1966 for you youngins. That's way back there. So anyways, we're really excited about this, and it's going to give us the ability to have storage, a place to park our machines, keep our equipment safe, dry, and locked up, and out of sight, out of mind. And you'll notice that I set them like this, kind of staggered, so that I could park a vehicle between there, for one thing, and for two, eventually, and I don't think I'll do it in this spot here, because we're up close to my driveway here. We're kind of like right by the entrance. And there's the entrance over there. Let me get it centered up and show you. There's our entrance over there. That wooden gate, that's across the road. That's the neighbor across the road, but the metal red gate is mine. And you pull right in here. So it's not that far off the road. And I don't know that, I'd want to build something where the first thing you see when you come in is the shipping container. But I needed a place to put them where it was relatively level, relatively dry. They weren't going to get washed out underneath or anything like that. So this is the spot we picked. And if you've been following the channel for a while, when I had my father-in-law's John Deere over here, the 3032, I was actually preparing for this, trying to get things out of the way so that the guy could come in here and drop these off easily. And I'll drop in a couple of pictures. We tried to get some video of that process, but the sun was getting low in the sky and we just couldn't get good video. And I was quite involved in that process because I had to help the guy kind of set them right where I wanted them. And man, they did a great job. They did an excellent job. Just setting them off the truck with the trailer, he got the things within a couple of inches of each other. I mean, it's amazing. So if I really did want to build right there, I could, because it's close enough that I could probably scoot it around with my tractor and get them squared up perfectly. And then, go ahead and anchor them to the ground or whatever. And there are a couple of anchors. The reason I set it here is, let's see if I can point to this. Over here, just on the outside of this one, there's a little pink flag. I don't know if the video is going to pick it up, but that flag is marking a mobile home anchor. And there's also one right in the middle between the two, and one just on the outside of this one here. So the plan is to take some cable and go up through the bottom, through the floor there, or maybe over the top. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. The only reason I don't want to go over the top is because it'll be kind of forming a big V here, the cable wheel in the middle, and that would block off my access to, park my vehicle there. And, it would just be weird to have a cable there because you could clothesline yourself at nighttime or whatever. It might be a hazard. So I don't know if I want to do that or just run through the floor. That's more than likely what I'll do. And I may even have to throw in a couple of anchors near the sides of the building, but at least I've got the 2 outside ones done already. So really excited about this. Let me know down in the comments, guys. What would you do? I'm sure you've thought about it if you're watching this video. What would you do if you had a couple of shipping containers like this? Would you do the roof structure, this typical A-frame roof structure that goes up and over like that? I thought about a shed roof that kind of slopes like that off the front, similar to what we did on our well house over here. See, we did a shed roof on that. I thought about I just really like those. I think they're cool looking. The skillion or scallion roof, whatever it's called. So that's a possibility. I also, when you're standing up on top of them, especially the way I've got them gapped like this, it just looks logical to just build a whole nother structure on top of them. So if you spaced them out right, you could build like a 20 by 30, because these are 20-foot containers, if I haven't mentioned it. But you could build it, 20 foot this way and space them out to where it'd be 30 or 40 long this way. And you could build a whole floor up above them. These things are definitely strong enough to do that. So there's lots of possibilities. This one over here, the floor is like 90% good. In the back corner, there was a leak, and there's a spot back there in the far back corner where I'm going to have to do a little bit of work, you know, replace some boards or whatever. But it's got like a solid board instead of plywood like that one. This has got solid boards in it, and I think that's what helped to keep it good for longer. So anyways, guys, that's what we've been up to over here. Again, I'd love to hear your feedback. What would you do if you had a couple of shipping containers like this? One of my ideas was to take one of them. Of course, if I do that, it blows all the other ideas of building, you know, building something on top of them. But I thought about taking one of them, probably this one right here on the left, and parking it down by the pond, leveling it. And then because the frame is not as good on this one, what I could do is take all the wood out of it and just fill it with concrete, you know, put it down on the ground, put some anchors down in the ground first, maybe like, you know, pour a few piers or whatever in the corners, and then drop this thing on top of those piers, set it level, fill it up with a little bit of gravel, and then come in over the top of that and throw concrete in and make a concrete floor in it. Of course, if I did that, it would have to stay there forever or until I decided to tear it down, because it would, you know, be permanently affixed to the ground at that point. So anyways, guys, I better get back at it. I got to get in here with the caulking gun and go around and hit up any spots where they put screws in through the wall and stuff like that. But I'm loving it, man. Really cool. And now this opens up a lot of possibilities. You know, as you guys know, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. So if something really catastrophic happened, my wife and I could fall out and come over here and live in one of these for a while. And at least, you know, it might not be the lap of luxury, but maybe it'd keep us alive. So appreciate you tuning in, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. It helps the channel out. Share these videos. That also helps the channel out. You know, that I've talked about it a couple of times, that the hands-on channel, you know, because we talk about truth sometimes, we've been shadow banned. So we really need your help to break the algorithm, beat the algorithm. And the way we do that is we share videos like this that we like. So appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time. What is it, buddy? What is it? What is it? Come here. There's my boy.